Are you bummed out about not raising the money you want, the money you need, the money you deserve right now? Well, I'm here to tell you what is for you. This is a treatise by Mahlena-Rae Johnson, Professor X for Introverted CEOs of Stage Fright. I teach you how to feel the fear and speak anyway. Now we're going to do a Google search and I want you to do it along with me. How much VC capital goes to white men? I found a bunch of articles, but we're going to focus on two today. And then we're going to go along with my train of thought as to why you need to focus on what is for you, not anybody else's, what is for them. The first article I enjoyed or informed me was Check Your Stats. The lack of diversity in venture capital is worse than it looks by Elizabeth Edwards on Forbes, which is from 2021. Yes, this article is more than 3 years old, but I don't think much has changed for the better since then. Now, you can see in this graph that white men control 93% of the venture capital dollars. So there is actually supposed to be a slide before, but it showed that 58% of the people who work in the venture capital industry are white men. Now that's definitely over indexing, but knowing that 58% of the people control 93% of the venture capital dollars is alarming, especially since the next highest share managed by ethnic, race, and gender identity is 3% white and female. So venture capital is not a meritocracy if 99% of the capital goes to white men, especially considering that 2/3 of that capital is set to be female wealth. And also, if you look in this clip that I took from this article, is what's especially interesting about firms that claim they can't find diverse candidates is that they claim to be top in the world at finding the best startups and finding the best talent for startups. If a VC's job is to find the unicorn-shaped needles in the haystack, either they are not as good as they claim at finding things, or they are simply not trying. And as someone who came from entertainment and is still quite entertaining, this is the same thing in entertainment and many other industries. This is not well, I guess reading about this article is an indictment on the venture capital industry, but it is not unique to the venture capital industry. Oftentimes, we as a human population here, well, we just can't find diverse candidates. And also, I don't like to use the word diverse because diversity refers to a group, not a person. You can't be a diverse person. You can be a diverse group. Anyway, apparently we are impossible to find, but if you can't find us, then are you really suited for your job? Let's go to the next slide. Share of venture capitalists by ethnic, race, and gender identity. So as you see in this slide, share of dollars is 93% held by white male people. Share of the partners in VC firms are white and male. And the share of the population, this isn't specified, but it is the United States population, is only 30%. So white and male people are over indexing on both the share of partners and the share of dollars they control. Now, if you happen to not be a white male person and you are experiencing difficulty raising venture capital, this is one explanation as to why. If you are a white male person, you are experiencing some difficulty. We're going to get to that in the next article. So essentially, I want to set up the stage for you to see what is happening and understand that it might not just be that you're not qualified or your product's terrible or your presentation's awful or your team isn't right. If the people that you are asking for money from don't see themselves in you, it makes it harder for you to be trusted by them. On to the next article from Techstars. Why do white men raise more VC dollars than anyone else? This one's from 2020. Again, things have not changed that much for the better since then. Let's keep going. As Jean-Pierre Adeshi says in this article, fundraising is hard, period. let's focus on that for just a moment. People watching this video are probably saying, yeah, it is hard. And I might be a white man or maybe not, but it's hard for everybody. Yeah, we're acknowledging this. Fundraising is hard, much less running a company is hard. So let's get that out of the way and move on to what we're continuing to say. Why do some succeed at it? Do I trust you with my money? If a VC doesn't trust you, they're not going to invest. But there is also bias in fundraising. That might be an and. Raising capital is even harder for Black, Latino, women founders, and other minorities. Again, I don't like to say minorities. I like to say marginalized people because we are the global majority and we make up a majority of the world population. According to Crunchbase's report in a recent 5-year study, 77% of VC dollars went to companies with a white founder, regardless of gender. This next one is for everyone who's saying, okay, but more than 90% of VC partners went to Stanford University and or Harvard University. 90%. So how are you supposed to overcome that hurdle if you're trying to connect with someone, 90% of them went to 2 universities in the world, and maybe you didn't go to those universities because there's only so many people who can? And furthermore, more than 70% of startups that raise venture capital have a white male co-founder who went to Stanford University and or Harvard University. Again, if you are not white, male, and went to Stanford and or Harvard, this is going to be really hard for you to do. The odds are against you if you do not fit the mold. The mold. Women founders get less than 10% of VC dollars. Latino founders receive less than 2% of VC dollars, and sure that is even less for Latinas. And Black founders receive less than 1% of VC dollars. So for the majority of people in the world who didn't go to Stanford and or Harvard and are not white and male, all at the same time, this is a difficult thing to do, which is why I want to emphasize that this is a scenario we're in. There are so many headwinds and obstacles against people who do not fit that specific mold. Therefore, if you are feeling like this is impossible, statistically it is. But I don't want that to stop you from what we're doing. We're going to get to the next slide so that we can look for examples of people who persevered in the face of overwhelming pressure. First, Shirley Chisholm, and I encourage you to Google along with me while you watch the video. Shirley Chisholm was the first Black woman to be elected to the United States Congress. She then became the first Black candidate for a major party nomination for the President of the United States and the first woman to run for the Democratic Party's nomination. So she saw all those people who had run for President of the United States before, didn't see herself in any of them, and said, I'm going to do this anyway. And she did not succeed in becoming President of the United States, but she persevered and she led the way for people like Elizabeth Warren, who is currently the senior United States Senator from Massachusetts. Now, we're skipping over some people in the middle in history because I want to focus on the fact that Elizabeth Warren ran for president in 2019, 2020. She looked at the person, the one person who looked like her before, in the face of all those people who ran for president, and said, you know, she didn't win 2 years ago, but maybe it's my turn. Maybe I can do this. And she put so much hope into the faces of girls and women across the world that maybe this time we can do it. I mean, she did lots of other things as well, but she didn't let the fact that someone who looked the most like her failed 2 years prior in 2016. She said, I'm going to do this anyway because I believe in myself. And she committed. Again, she didn't win, but she made it possible for other girls and women and people across the world to say, hey, maybe I can do it too. Next person, Kamala Harris. Now, Kamala Harris, as I often forget, is the first Black vice president of the United States. She is the first woman president of the United States. She is the first Asian American president of the United States. And she did not win her bid for becoming president of the United States either. But knowing that she is the vice president is something that I have forgotten to celebrate over the past 4 years, because that's amazing. There are girls and women and lots of other people across the world who said, oh, she did it. And then she didn't do it. But that inspired so many people to do what she did in 107 days, in incredible pressure against her. People see that and say, maybe I can do it too. And this is the last person that didn't get as reported as the other people that I mentioned. Lisa Blunt Rochester. She is now the United States Senator-elect from Delaware. She is currently the representative in the House for Delaware, and she is the first woman and first African-American to represent Delaware in Congress. Now, as many of you know, Delaware is a place where people are encouraged to open their corporations because of favorable business practices. They did not have a representative in Congress, meaning the House or Senate, until 2017, when Lisa Blunt Rochester said, hey, there are no more women. There are no women before me who succeeded in representing Delaware in Congress. About me. And she said, yes, and the people said yes, and now she's not only their first female representative in the House, but their first female representative in Senate. So I want you to think of all those stories and recognize there is a lot going against a lot of people who want to do amazing things. What is my point? What is for you is for you. I understand that all of us are up against things that we can't even imagine and don't even know are there until someone points it out for us. And it's hard when you're not both white and male and also from Harvard or Stanford. But we can persevere anyway. Rest, recover, then keep going. If you're tired, take a break and then get back at it. And if you need to take another break, do so. But keep going on a forward trajectory. Don't let the headwinds tell you to stop permanently, because your dreams and your goals matter. Questions? My DMs are open. Or email me at mahlena@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.